Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to not only you, but also to me. It's been a minute. I am back from my trip back from Thailand. So I thought that we could ramble about the trip. And also eat some snacks. I have Nerds gummies and potato chips. So, just like health food, that kind of stuff. I am in Cleveland tonight. And at the Cleveland Hotel, they have snacks and candy and all that stuff in the lobby. And they give us flight attendants and an $8 voucher to spend on snacks. And that means that I can get gummy clusters. Which I love. Anyway, so I hope that you've all been very well. I missed you while I was gone on my trip. I have been back for a little bit, but I had jumped straight back into work. And I've been working a lot of illegal trips, which is actually what I'm doing right now. Which means that I don't get a full night's sleep at the hotel. So I've just been tired. I've just been jet lagged when I first got back, and then doing these illegals, I've been like just sleeping, but I'm finally bouncing back. So we thought we could do our video chatting about Thailand. So, I had left on April 1st. I flew from Minneapolis to Korea to Chiang Mai, and I spent like the first week of my trip in Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is in northern Thailand, and what I did there was hike. So this was, for me, a backpacking trip. And I had like a day and a half of just becoming unjet lagged and getting used to how freaking hot it was, because it was like 100 to 110 degrees the whole time I was there. It was also burning season, so there's smoke in the air. But on the 4th, I started the trek. I did this with a company called G Adventures, and we had our host who spoke Thai, English, and tribal dialects of Thai, because the trek was 5 days total, and each night we stayed with tribes, hillside tribes. We stayed with the Karen and with the Black Lahu tribes, and we hiked with guides from two guides from those tribes. So every day, first day, we all got together, we met each other, we had dinner, and then in the next morning we drove 5 hours from Chiang Mai. I think like the closest town to where we started the hike was Pai. So we drove 5 hours north from Chiang Mai into the mountains. We met with our tribal guides, and then each day we hiked we spent like 6 to 8 hours hiking every day. And we would stop along the trailhead for lunch. We met up with other people from the tribe who had brought the food. We ate like rice out of banana leaves and egg scramble and cabbage with like some spicy stuff to put on top. And they gave us oolong tea after our meals, and we drank it out of bamboo. It was good. But it was so hot. I thought I was gonna die every day, and not in a funny way. I was like, oh, this is like actually dangerous. This is like hotter than I can handle. And I'm really tan now. But it was really fun. Anyway, we would stay in their tribal villages each night and have meals with them. We could kind of do what we wanted to each night. Once we got to the villages, there was usually like one person there who sold like beer, and you could drink at like the bar, which was just like, the first night it was like a tarp covered like shack. If you needed to shower, it was just like a barrel of water to dump over your head. You could hand wash your stinky hiking clothes. You could help the women cook dinner, which was fun. And you just got by on body language because nobody spoke the same language. So that was a really fun experience. And we ended the last day of our hike at this giant cave system that we got to explore. And our host was such a partier. We all got so drunk every night, and then slept like on the floor under mosquito nets, woke up at like 6 each day, and kept hiking in this insane heat. And everybody that I've met in hostels for the rest of my trip, and then friends and family back home that I described the trek to, of like rough accommodations, hiking for hours a day in blistering heat with smoke in the air, carrying a 65-liter backpacking kit on my back, getting violently drunk every night, and then getting up early to hike some more. They're all like, that doesn't sound like fun. And I would agree. It does not sound like fun on paper. But it was fun. Quite an adventure, and probably like one of the most unique things that I've done. We got to learn about the tribes. These are shamanistic tribes. So we got to meet their shamans, we got to attend rituals, all kinds of cool stuff. Then after the hike completed, I didn't know what else I wanted to do in Thailand. But I said an emotional goodbye the group that I hiked with, hopped on a motorbike back to the airport, and decided to go to Bangkok because it just seemed like I needed to at least go. I don't care about nightlife, which seems like that's kind of what Bangkok is known for, but Bangkok is like the best place to go or to be if you want to go to the floating markets and the railway markets, which is what I wanted to do. They're like 2 hours away. But I booked a company through Klook. They'll take you in a van for a day to visit those markets. So I got into Bangkok very late. And since I fly standby and I don't know if I'm actually going to get on the flights that I'm trying to get on, I don't book anything in advance. So I waited until I was in my seat for the flight to Bangkok before I tried to book a hostel. And I booked one, sent the guy a message on WhatsApp, and it turns out that he was gonna be gone for the night before I ever got to the hostel. So he sent me a picture of the keypad, sent me a code to get in the building, and left my key at the front desk. I stayed there for 2 nights. I never saw the man. I took a motorbike into like the city of Bangkok that night. I got some street food, wandered around, didn't go to like the nightlife part. I just went to like an area where there's a lot of food. And motorbike back to the hostel, slept there, went to the markets the next day. The railway market was really cool. We went there first. I know they have those kind of markets in Vietnam, which I really want to see when I go there. I didn't really know they had them in Thailand, so that was cool. They literally have like the market along the railway, like onto the railway, and then when the train comes through they have to pull all of their products back so the train can pass through. And I'm telling you, it went like right past our noses. So I have a really cool video of how close it passes us. And then like the second that it passes, all the vendors start putting their stuff back out, like instantly. So that was really cool. They got like snacks there, did a lot of eating. And then we went to the floating market, which was awesome. You're just going down in long boats, like river, I think it is. And there's other vendors on boats, and if you want something, you can flag them down. I flagged down the Thai sausage lady because I love Thai sausage, and I got that for my lunch. Got some coconut ice cream, and then when the boat ride ended, there's still vendors along like the piers and the docks. So I went and walked around those, and then they had multiple drop-off points you could choose for the evening. So I went to I forget what the place is called, but it's basically a waterfront market, like a giant one. And I wandered around there for a while. And they have a shuttle ferry that goes in between piers that's free. And so it was just kind of fun to ride it back and forth because it's the canal actually that goes through the city of Bangkok. So there's like skyscrapers on every side. I'm really not into nightlife, but I like cityscapes. So I was taking like some cool pictures and videos of the night time with the city lights. I watched the sunset. They had like carnival rides and a Ferris wheel. I went to the haunted house ride and I rode the Ferris wheel. I like pretended to be a kid for the evening and like did all the fun stuff. And then once the sun was down, I got like some really cool pictures because it was cheaper to get a motorbike from the other pier. So I took the shuttle ferry back to the other pier and walked up to the top of the bridge. And I have this one video that I think looks really cool of like the night skyline. And then there was like another street food market right by that pier. So I walked around that for a little bit. There was a night bazaar that I went to with some of the girls that I hiked with too that I forgot about. And when I was in Chiang Mai for those first couple of days, I went to the street markets and was just like eating fruit that I could find. And anyway, eventually I went back to the hotel or the hostel. The guy had already left. I never paid him before I showed up because he's cash only, and I never saw him the whole time I was there. But there's a street vendor lady who sold noodles on the street outside of the hostel, and they like know each other. So he asked her if I could leave my money with her, and she said yes. So I went back that night and I gave my money to the noodle lady. And then I got a message from the guy the next day saying, "Oh, I hope you enjoyed your stay. Sorry I never got to see you." But they're just very accommodating, very flexible to sort that out. And then for the rest of my trip, I knew that I wanted to hike more. I heard from one of the girls that I did the trek with that she got her scuba diving certification while she was in Thailand. And never a day in my life have I thought to myself, oh, I want to go scuba diving. But she said it was fun. And then I started to think, that might actually be kind of fun. So I knew I wanted to hike. I knew I might want to get scuba certified. And I knew I wanted to be able to visit some of the islands around Thailand. So I decided to fly to Krabi. And I stayed at a really cool hostel, like right on the beach. It was called Sea Beach Hostel. It's like a really new one, apparently. And the first day that I got there, I was on Hostel World, chatting in the group chats and finding out what kind of events that the local hostels were hosting. So the hostel I stayed at, they had like a group kayaking thing going on that day. So I got there too early to check in. So I just put my stuff in a locker and then I went kayaking. And I met a girl there that I became friends with and pretty much did everything with for the rest of the time. And then we met an Australian kid that I also became friends with. So like the girl that I met was really into like outdoor activities like me. The Australian kid was like into like partying and stuff, so I would do like outdoorsy stuff with her during the day and then like go drinking and partying with my other friends at night. As I said, I don't like nightlife, but the island town was a little bit different. It was really fun being there and very relaxed, and it was also just kind of like a when in Rome thing. So I did the kayaking the first day. And I'm not really sure if I remember exactly what I did each day, but over the course of time that I was there, I spent an entire day rock climbing. That was really difficult. I really messed up my shoulder and it was scary. I forget that I'm kind of afraid of heights, but I did a full day rock climbing thing. We climbed several routes at one climbing location in the morning. Took a break, had lunch. It was on an island, so I went swimming on the beach with my friend. She actually does rock climb, so she was kicking my ass. Everybody was kicking my ass. I have no body strength, but it was still fun. And then after lunch, we went to a second, even cooler location, climbed a few more routes, and I got a little bit better as the day went on, but I also got a little bit worse because of fatigue, but it was still fun. And then we visited a cave, and I thought we were just gonna like, oh cool, a cave, but no. We like hiked up and inside the cave and like climbed to like the highest cave mouth with all of our climbing gear on still, and we were going up like ropes and ladders to get to this highest part. And then they geared up again with the belayers, set up the ropes into the hard points again, and to get out of the cave, we rappelled out and down from like way high up. It was super cool, super cool. And then we took the boat back off the island, got back to the hostel. I think I probably went out each night I was on Hostel World, and I found a group of kids, I say kids, people, that were all going to go to, I forget the name of the hike already. I think it was like Dragon's Crest Trail, which was like a 4-hour hike, like up a mountain to like the crest of the mountain with like this insane viewpoint. But it was like, it was so hot and it was so steep, and it was like the same thing as the trek. Like, I had a lot of fun. I'm glad that I went. I loved it. But I also don't know how I did it. I don't think I could do it again. And if nobody showed me pictures of it or hyped up how cool it was and just presented the idea to me on paper, I don't know if I would have agreed to have gone. But it was really cool. Got a lot of cool pictures. Had lunch with that group afterwards. And then I decided that I was, in fact, going to get my scuba dive certification. So I enrolled in dive school. I went to a PADI dive school, which PADI is like internationally recognized. So if you get your credentials there, you can use them anywhere. And there's like a big community of PADI divers, and there's PADI dive schools everywhere. So I went with PADI, and I did a 3-day scuba certification program. The first day was just in the pool, learning like safety stuff, how to use the BCD, the regulator, set up the equipment, hand signals, proper ascent and descent, all that stuff. And it was just my instructor, me, and one other guy. So it felt like a private class. It was awesome. And then for the next 2 days of the program, the dive school took us out on their boats. We sailed like 2 or 3 hours to our first dive spot, which was on an island. And then we went to a second dive spot after lunch, and they fed us breakfast and lunch, and they had electrolyte drinks, and we got to do our first and second open water dives on the first day of open water diving, and logged our dives, used all the compass and dive computers, and passed skills tests and like drills and stuff. And then on the second day of the open water diving, day 3 of 3 for the program, we were doing another dive in the morning, another dive after lunch, and those were all the dives that we had to do to certify our training. And then there was like a written exam, and then after all of that, we had finished the curriculum. So then we got to opt into going on a third dive where we wouldn't have to do any skills or prove anything. We just got to do it for fun. And it was like an hour-long dive. I'm now certified to scuba dive down to a maximum 18 meters depth. And the fun dive that we did was so nice. I got to see a leopard shark on my first ever open water dive, which was really cool. There was black-tip sharks. There was really, really cool nudibranchs. And we got to swim through coral canyons and caves. It was really cool. And I thought I would be terrified because I'm scared of the ocean. which is part of the reason why I wanted to get scuba dive certified, to like face my fears. But I really like it now, and I'm excited for the future to like plan to pick like the next places that I want to travel based around like what kind of diving that I can do there. And I want to do the advanced diver certification, and that will certify me down to 30 meters. And then I want to take like some specialized courses, because I think what I want to get into is shipwreck diving. That sounds really cool. The other guy that I went to the program with is from like Cyprus, and he was telling me that there's like a really world popular shipwreck close to where he's from, and it's within the depth that I'm certified to dive at. I don't know if that's true. I haven't Googled it, because that seems shallow for a shipwreck, but I don't know anything. But I would love to do shipwreck diving, and I want to see more sharks. But that was really, really cool. I really, really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought that I was going to. Like, I really liked it, and I can't wait till the next time I get to scuba dive. Anyway, there was also 9 hours of curriculum that I had to finish before I could start the program. So, doing that at a party hostel in a shared dorm after like spending half my night partying as well was hell. But I did it, and I'm certified now. And then Songkran Festival was happening while I was in Krabi. Krabi was a great place to be for Songkran. Songkran is the Thai New Year festival. And day one of Songkran was day one of my program, I think. I'm not sure how the days overlapped, but I do know day one of Songkran. I wasn't expecting to be able to do any excursions because it's a major holiday. I didn't think any events like for excursions would be happening, and I didn't think any boats would be leaving the harbor, but my friend that I met somehow found a boat that would take us to an island, but she needed one more person for them to actually go. So I'd fallen asleep doing my scuba school homework, and then she messaged me on WhatsApp, and she's like, hey, I found a boat, I need one more person to go. And I was like, okay, give me like 2 seconds then. And I went down, got on the boat, we went to this island, my sandals broke on the way there, and then like my feet were hurting so bad walking around on the hot sand, and we hiked up to this viewpoint, which was like the main thing to do on the island. It was like killing my feet, and then we swam in the ocean, but there's so many jellyfish everywhere. I was getting stung all over, and it doesn't really hurt that bad, but I was just getting so many jellyfish stings. And our boat wasn't supposed to go back until 4 p.m. and we were low-key bored by like 1 to 2 p.m. So I was like, let's just go to the pier and see if another boat will let us hop on back to Ao Nang. And sure enough, they did. They were like, the first boat that we asked, they were like, yeah, sure, but our boat is full, so you have to ride on the roof, which ended up having like the best views, also super relaxing, and it was very hard not to fall asleep, but if I did fall asleep, I would have rolled off the roof. So they were so nice to us, though. They gave us like fruit and water, which was the stuff they were giving to their paid passengers, and they just gave it to us anyway because they were so nice. And yeah, they took us back to Ao Nang, and then the rest of the day, I had already bought my water gun, and I had bought my water protective phone case. And then for the whole 3 days of Songkran, everybody just has a giant water fight in the street, and normally there's 2 lanes of traffic, and it turns into just everybody going around in a parade with barrels of water in the beds of their trucks, with like all their family piled in there, using buckets to throw water at people as they drive by. My hostel was having a home party. I just was running around having water pistol fights with strangers on the street. People would paint your face with chalk. It was so fun. It was like literally a 3-day long water party. I broke my toes because my sandals broke. So I'm running around in the wet street having water pistol fights barefoot. And then my friend and I went to go to the night market to get food. And there was some pavement that was like this. And I kicked the part that was crooked and I broke my toes. And that was the day before dive school. This is how I remember. Because on day 1 of dive school, when we were just figuring out what size equipment we needed for everything, I ended up having to wear a larger size flipper on my right foot than my left foot because my right foot was so swollen. But it feels like fine now. I've broken toes before and there's not really much you can do about it. So Songkran was so much fun. Just a giant party. And then my last full day was my last full day of dive school. And then I had to wait 18 hours before I could fly. Because you can't scuba dive and fly. It's too much of a altitude and pressure change. So then I flew out the next morning from Krabi back to Bangkok. And then I was gonna go from Bangkok to Incheon, and then I wasn't gonna make it to Incheon in time for that evening's departure back straight to Minneapolis on my airline. So I was gonna have a day over in South Korea, go to the street markets, eat some food, and then fly back the next day. And I was definitely gonna get the lie flat suites too, because I was looking at the flight availability. But my airline had been trying to get my new work phone to me, and the USPS people would not deliver it correctly. So they ended up having to send it to California because I don't know anybody in Minneapolis who they could try to send it to besides myself. So they sent it to my parents' house in California. And the last day to have that device, your old device, still work passed while I was on vacation. So I needed to get my new device before I could return back to work. So instead of having a fun day over in South Korea and then getting a comfortable, almost guaranteed lie flat seat back straight to Minneapolis, I instead had to go from Krabi to Bangkok, from Bangkok to Taiwan, from Taiwan to Los Angeles. And that was my long leg, was the Taiwan to LA, which was a 12-hour flight on China Airlines in a middle seat in the back of the bus in economy, not the lie flat suite that I was going to get. And then once I got to LA, my dad drove 2 hours up to LA from San Diego to get me, just so I could sleep over at their house and get my phone. Which then I felt bad because I was like, if I'm here, I should at least visit my parents. But I had work the next day, so I tried to put that trip up for drop. But because we're going into summer flying, you really can't get your trips dropped right now. So I found out late in the day prior that I wasn't gonna get my trip drop approved. So then I did leave San Diego back to Minneapolis, landed, and then went to work that night. So I was jet lagged. I didn't get to rest. I went straight to work. And normally with my job in the places I fly to, regularly, most of the flights flying that I do is domestic, and I'm usually only like 3 to 4 hours away from the time zone that I live in, so I don't really get jet lagged. And occasionally I'll do like transoceanics, which for me is mostly like an 8-hour time difference, only for one day. Like, it doesn't really hit me. But like almost 3 weeks in Thailand, where it's a 12-hour time difference, that hit me. And then I went straight to work, and I worked like a red-eye overnight trip. I was struggling so hard, oh my god. But I've done that before. When I was coming back from Turkey, I got trapped in Amsterdam. I was supposed to have a whole day in between coming back and going to work, and I ended up having to land back in Minneapolis, clear customs, go to the bathroom, put my uniform on, and go work a red-eye to Los Angeles. So it's rugged, but I have done it before, and I would do it again for the sake of traveling. But the jet lag really hit me. It took me like days. Okay, it took me like days to get back on Minneapolis time, and I did not have any days off, so I was like, the whole several days that I was readjusting were work days, and I couldn't tell you where I had gone, what trips I worked. I have no clue, because I was zooted, okay? Was not here mentally, but I got through it. And then I did have like 4 days off. I just had 4 days off from like Tuesday to Friday is when I went back to work, and today is Sunday. So I did spend a lot of time sleeping and not making videos, but like, I'm back now, baby, okay? But I am doing pretty much only illegals for the rest of the month, because I need to fly high credit to make some cash. So it's a lot of these kind of trips, and very short ones for the Friday, and the trips that I was doing prior to this, they were very short leanovers, like less than 5 hours in a hotel. But tonight's is like a full 8 hours, which is really good for an illegal. So here I am, we're making a video, and I'm so happy to be back. Happy to be able to share my little vacation ramble with you, and I hope that you've tuned in, and I hope to see you again in the next video. I'm going to get some sleep.